concerned about investing more money, especially in this budget year, or the coming budget year is even worse.
But I think just because we put it on a plan doesn't mean we're investing any money in it. We're putting there as a possibility down the road, but we're not putting a dime in. This is basically a wish list.
If that's acceptable to do, I'm all for it. I'd like to retain flexibility. I don't want to spend the money. I don't want to take over the state's responsibility to plan for transportation improvements.
Okay. He's before you, I'm sorry.
One question I have regarding Washougal River Road in 14 is, has there been any discussion about whether or not that needs to be a four-way interchange, or whether it's just going to be Highway 14 and interchange with Washougal River Road, and then basically not allowing that to be a parking lot on the riverside, considering how constrained the space is? Has there been any discussion of that you guys are aware of?
Isn't that a park on the south side?
Yes.
Okay.
That gets you into a 4F issue, which is something you don't want to have to deal with.
Okay.
It probably is going to get you into a 4F issue anyways, because you're probably going to have to impact parkland
Right.
with the design, but it becomes really complicated. But generally, you can't cut off parks; it's just not allowed.
They can walk there.
Paul?
Couple of comments. Tell a short story. Those of us who are on council, I wasn't yet on council, but we remember the talk about a pedestrian bridge which would actually carry the number 4 force main across the Washougal River. We had, 10 people show up, and they were very loud about how much they hated it. I recently went around the neighborhood warning people that we were going to dig up their street and make a mess of the neighborhood while we built the number 4 force main. I was stunned. 4-1, they were disappointed that there was no bridge for a couple of simple reasons. It would let kids walk home from high school. I swore at that point that I would no longer confuse volume with numbers.
Me either.
Would this plan look at, I mean, if I think about it, I would encourage people to go over and walk around at the intersection of Washougal River Road and 15th and imagine how wide the bank needs to be at the base to put a highway 20 feet in the air, and then have room for exit and entry lanes on both sides, and ask yourself how much land you're willing to take away from Pendleton. And how big a fight do you want to get into with the Corps of Engineers about their dike? And then we haven't even talked about the county park. Would those kinds of issues be addressed by the conceptual design?
Yeah, that would probably be a supplemental to what we actually have scoped out for tasks within that RFP, but it could be looked at by the successful consultant for updating the facility plan.
Okay.
Yeah, I sat in a meeting with DOT many years ago as they discussed this project, the widening and interchange, and there are a lot of issues. The dike, parkland, utilities, where you put the utilities, if you raise that, and there are so many issues. And there's a lot to be addressed on the ultimate solution before we get there.
That might correspond to some of the costs that's identified. I might suggest that, given some of the, I would call it, some new information that we have from our colleague and partner with RTC, it's much appreciated. Sort of the implications of the different decisions and hearing some of the council discussion, that staff can kind of noodle this a little bit over the time between now and your hearing next week. Frame the significance of any decision you might make after the hearing, and give you our best advice in shaping a couple of those different options. I feel like we need a little bit more time to digest some of this conversation to be able to do that.
Is there anything else?
Thank you.
Actually, I would just like to say one thing, and that my tenure on RTC, I've been very impressed with RTC as a group, the staff, and with Dean Lookingbill as the executive director, and I believe he's been executive director since the inception of the Regional Transportation Council. And they have a very small staff. They did not ask for any increase in salary or scope, and yet they didn't ask for any increase in salary this year. And yet the scope of what they're asked to do increases every single year. So we can always rely on them for good, competent, and specific data, a lot of good studies that are well done, readable, legible, timely. So I really want to thank you and your whole staff, Dale.
Appreciate that.
Thank you for being here. Okay, cemetery lot buyback.
Yes, we had Kincaid's approach us, I believe, a week and a half ago? No, 19th, wanting to buy back their lots. Fairly routine. We have done 2, I believe, this year. We did a total of 5 last year, so we've actually seen a little bit of a upswing in buybacks with the climate that we're in. So, any questions on that? For the cemetery lot buyback, it's available to them via code, obviously. It's mentioned in the summary statement as well. Okay. CDBG agreement, East Street Improvements Project. Agreement specifically with CDBG for the $300,000 that's been identified for the East Street project. I think they've identified close to 4,800 lineal feet of sidewalk to be constructed. This is formalizing the agreement with CDBG via Clark County to obligate funds for the CDBG project, or funds to support East Street Road Diet. And the numbers you see on the back page of the cover sheet of the agreement, source A through F, Clark County through USDA loan/water. Those are the most recent and accurate numbers for the project. Just a quick update in regards to the USDA loan for the water line improvements. That is in the review process, and we've not heard back from the regional rep, Bruce Whittle, as of yet.
Any questions?
Is this for the original East Street project, or is this for the water mains?
This is for the original East Street project.
Okay, that's what I thought. because-
Community Development Block Grant identified $300,000 to support the project.
Okay,
It's
new access
separate.
for bicyclists and pedestrians, convert the existing travel lane to a center left turn lane, and another existing travel lane into 2 bike lanes, 1 in each direction. That's the scope of what we're talking about.
Right.
Thank
So
you.
when it got rescoped and the roundabout was moved out, CDBG was still a supporter of the project with the bike lane and sidewalk deliverables that were part of the scope.
Okay.
All right, fire.
Hi. Fire District 5, which is still a viable entity, they're on the kind of the eastern northern edge of the city of Vancouver. They hire out contract with the city of Vancouver currently to provide fire protection. What Fire District 5 is looking at, though, is saying, well, maybe we can serve the citizens of Vancouver.